Liza had just called in sick, only 30 minutes after David assigned her a new task. He stared at his screen, frustrated. This wasn't the first time. She was smart, capable, so why did she keep resisting? This time, something had to change. A few months ago, David found himself in an unexpected position. One of his team's supervisors had left, and with no one else to take over, he had to step in. He hadn't managed daily operations in a while, and honestly, the challenges ahead felt overwhelming. Among his team members was Liza, quiet, reserved, always hesitant. She rarely spoke up in meetings and avoided taking on new tasks. But David needed her to step up. The team was changing, and so was her role. David tried to ease her in, giving her small manageable tasks just enough to build her confidence, but no matter how carefully he approached it, Liza pushed back. At first, he told himself to be patient, but soon it became a pattern. She ignored new assignments, stalled on tasks, and avoided discussions. And now, calling in sick right after getting a new assignment? That was the last straw. David had had enough. It was time for a serious talk. David was ready to be tough, to tell her exactly how things needed to change. But just as he was preparing for the conversation, something unexpected happened. An article popped up. Why leading with compassion is a better managerial tactic than toughness. It made him pause. He had always believed in understanding his team, but in his frustration, he had forgotten that principle. Maybe what Liza needed wasn't pressure. Maybe she needed clarity. So when they finally sat down, David didn't scold her. Instead, he gently asked what was really going on, why she seemed to struggle with new tasks, and what she truly wanted for her future. For a moment, Liza said nothing. Then quietly, she opened up. She admitted she was afraid of failing, that if she didn't do the task well, it would all fall apart. And on top of that, she was already overwhelmed with her workload. And there it was, the real reason. She wasn't lazy, she wasn't avoiding work. She was afraid of not meeting expectations. David took a deep breath. He looked at Liza and told her what he truly believed. He saw her potential. But he also knew that if she wanted to grow in her career, she'd have to start taking on new challenges. It wasn't easy for her to hear. But then again, growth never is. David arranged extra training and even lightened some of her workload. But deep down he still wondered, was it enough? Would she ever truly overcome her fear? Weeks passed. A new supervisor joined, and David stepped back from the team. He wasn't closely involved in Liza's progress anymore. But something had changed. She was taking on more responsibilities. The hesitation was gone. He thought about asking her what shifted, but something held him back. What if bringing it up made her second-guess herself again? Then one afternoon, Liza walked over to David's desk with a confident smile. She said she wasn't afraid anymore, that she'd realized the only way to grow was to keep learning. And now, whenever a new task came in, she just told herself, "Bring it on." David didn't say much, but that moment stayed with him for a long time. The fear of failure is one of the hardest things to overcome, and David knew that because he had battled it himself. But Liza had done it. She had shifted her mindset, not focusing on failure, but on growth. And that changed everything. That day, David knew she had a bright future ahead. Have you ever held yourself back because of fear? Maybe it's time to shift your focus from failure to growth, because the only way forward is to take that first step. If you like or relate to this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Imaginarium for more motivational stories.